The old junk shop on Elm Street had a peculiar draw. I often found myself wandering its dusty aisles, drawn by the scent of forgotten lives and the promise of a history unspoken. That's where I first saw it. An ornate, floor-length mirror, its silvered surface cloudy with age, framed in blackened oak carved with swirling, almost serpentine patterns. It wasn't just old. It felt ancient, heavy with unspoken stories, a silent observer of countless moments. The shopkeeper, a man with eyes like polished stones, barely looked up from his ledger. "Been here longer than me, that one," he rasped, his voice a dry rustle. "Seen a lot of faces come and go." A strange, magnetic pull, an insistent whisper that only I seemed to hear, compelled me forward. I bought it, the price strangely low, almost as if he was eager to be rid of it, and with considerable effort, hauled its imposing weight home. It seemed to demand the darkest corner of my bedroom, directly facing my bed, a silent sentinel that watched me even before I knew it was watching at first. It was subtle, easy to dismiss as my imagination, or the play of shadows in an unfamiliar room. Peripheral glances caught fleeting movements in its depths. A shadow not quite mine, a flicker of a form, a shift in the background that vanished the moment I turned my head fully to confront it. My own reflection seemed off. A slight delay between my movement and its echo, a smile a touch too wide, a momentary glint in my eyes that was not my own. I dismissed it as fatigue, the lingering dust motes, or perhaps just a trick of the old, imperfect glass. But the occurrences grew more frequent, more vivid, weaving themselves into the fabric of my daily routine, chipping away at my sense of normalcy. I'd walk in and catch a reflection of myself just behind where I truly was, only to find the space empty, the air suddenly still and cold as if a presence had just withdrawn. The intricately carved oak frame, with its twisting, serpentine patterns, seemed to pulse faintly at night, a barely perceptible throb that I could almost feel in my teeth, a silent, living thing. I started leaving lights on, small lamps casting a warm glow, but the mirror absorbed them, making its depths darker, a bottomless void that seemed to invite whatever lurked within. The figures in the periphery became clearer, more defined, gaunt, indistinct shapes, always moving just at the fringes of my vision, always just out of direct sight. They were watchers. I was their subject, an exhibit under constant, chilling observation. One night, deep exhaustion claimed me, dragging me into a restless sleep. I lay in bed, the mirror a vast, dark rectangle, a portal to an unknown realm. I opened my eyes in the oppressive silence and saw it. My reflection was utterly gone. Instead, staring back from the silvered depths was a face utterly alien, a visage of pure, ancient malevolence. Its skin was like parchment stretched taut over sharp, angular bones, its eyes pits of bottomless malice, reflecting an unimaginable age. It wasn't smiling, but its mouth was unnaturally wide, an impossible rictus revealing rows of needle-sharp teeth, each one a tiny shard of obsidian. Its hand rose, gnarled fingers, twisted like ancient roots, pressing against the glass. The surface of the mirror rippled, not like solid glass, but like dark, viscous water, an oily sheen distorting the horrifying image. Where its hand pressed, an icy, piercing cold seeped into my own palm, a phantom sensation as if an invisible wall had materialized between us, yet its touch was undeniable. The air in the room grew heavy, stagnant, smelling of dust and metal, of things long buried and recently disturbed. The face leaned closer still, its breath, cold and stale, like air from a tomb, seemed to fog the very air around me, despite the glass separating us. It whispered something, a sound like dry leaves skittering across barren ground, a language utterly unknown, yet its meaning resonated directly into the core of my being, chilling me to the bone. Mine. Then, without warning, the mirror went utterly black, a void more profound than any shadow. For a long, agonizing moment, I stared into nothingness, my heart a frantic drum against my ribs. Then, slowly, my reflection returned. My face, my eyes, but my eyes were different. Deeper, darker, with a subtle glint of something predatory, something ancient and cruel that had not been there before. And the smile on my face, was definitely not my own. It was a cold, knowing curve that echoed the ancient malice I had just witnessed, a silent pact sealed in the dark. The icy coldness in my palm remained, a phantom brand that prickled beneath my skin. I knew, with a certainty that transcended logic, that the mirror had swallowed a part of me, a piece of my essence, and in its place, had left a fragment of itself behind. I still see the gaunt face sometimes, just behind my own reflection, a fleeting, haunting image. It is always watching, always waiting, for its pieces to reunite. The mirror stands. It waits. And I stand with it. If you're still listening, if the chill hasn't quite settled, lean closer. Some truths are meant to be whispered, shared in the dark, where they cannot be ignored. Stay. There's more to see beyond the glass, the dusty pawn shop, grimmer than the junk store, smelling of despair and forgotten ambitions. In a bin, I found an old digital camera, bulky and scratched, its plastic casing cool and strangely inert. It was fully charged, strangely, as if left in a perpetual state of eerie readiness. I took it home, a faint sense of unease already stirring. It contained a single, corrupted video file, a garbled mess of pixels and broken timestamps. My programmer's instinct kicked in. Hours later, after wrestling with hex codes and obscure codecs, the file was whole. A video, shaky, low resolution, its date stamped proudly declaring 2005. I pressed play, expecting an old vacation video, perhaps some forgotten family moments. What unspooled was far more unsettling, a chilling descent into another person's terror. The video began with disoriented shots, an abandoned house, dust motes dancing, peeling wallpaper, a broken window. The camera operator moved slowly, a sense of quiet dread permeating the silence. Then, whispers began, almost inaudible, like wind through cracked glass. It sees you in the silver. The camera focused on reflective surfaces, a grimy shard of mirror, a dusty window pane, a polished toaster. Each time, the image distorted, a pixelated shimmer, as if the camera recoiled. The whispers grew louder, urgent. Don't look directly. Look at the edges. The operator's breathing became ragged. They were searching for something in this decaying space. The camera panned wildly, then back to a reflection. Distortion became pronounced, taking on vague, elongated shapes within the reflections, moving too quickly. Not human, the operator's panic was palpable. Heavy, ragged breaths filled the audio. The camera shook violently. They seemed trapped in a small room. Walls lined with broken mirrors, shards reflecting fractured images. The whispers were a cacophony, a chorus of sibilant voices from everywhere and nowhere, repeating, "It sees you. In the silver. You are seen." The camera operator backed into a corner, desperate. Suddenly, they turned the camera on themselves. The reflection in the small screen was horrific. Their face stretched, elongated, mouth wide in a silent, impossible scream. Their eyes, visible in the grainy footage, wide with terror. Then, a shadow, impossibly dark and jagged, with too many limbs, flashed across the distorted reflection. The camera emitted a strangled electronic shriek, then dropped. The last image, a fractured mirror, reflecting darkness, a brief glimpse of something formless and vast in the shattered glass. The video ended. Black screen. The silence in my room suffocating. I replayed it, hands trembling. I scrutinized every distorted reflection, and then I saw it. In one of the earlier, stable shots of a dusty window pane reflecting the room, a subtle detail. Behind the camera person's figure, not quite in focus, was a reflection of my own living room. My armchair, my lamp, and in the very corner of that window's reflection, a faint outline of my own figure, sitting, watching the screen. The entity seemed to be looking not at the original operator, but directly at me. Through the years, through the digital medium, a bridge of terror spanning time and space. It had been watching me watch the video. This isn't just my fear now, is it? That raw dread, that sense of an unseen observer, a presence that defies all understanding. If you feel it too, that creeping sense of not being alone, of an ancient, patient gaze, perhaps you should remember what you've seen here, what you've witnessed. Share what you've glimpsed. Let someone else know what you've seen. The burden is too heavy for one. The screen, once a window to the past, had become a window from the past, looking out at me, patiently waiting to my hometown has a secret, a hushed legend that clung to the air like the lake's perpetual mist, Lake Veridian. They say its waters are impossibly deep, still, and that those who stare too long at their reflection at twilight are sometimes claimed by what lies beneath. The townsfolk speak of it in hushed tones, avoiding its name after dark. My younger sister, Lily, disappeared there 15 years ago. No body, no trace, just her abandoned bicycle. The official story was drowning, but the town knew better. I haven't been back, not to its edge, not since that day. An inexplicable pull, a deep, resonant ache, drew me back to its dark, unmoving surface. I needed to see it, to understand, to finally grasp the chilling truth of what truly happened. That I sat on the worn bench overlooking the lake, twilight painting the sky in bruised purples and oranges. The surface of Lake Veridian was a perfect, glassy mirror, reflecting the sky with chilling precision. My own face, etched with grief, stared back. I threw a stone, breaking the illusion, but ripples quickly faded. I focused on Lily, but what I saw instead, deep beneath my reflection, were shifting, colossal shapes. Not fish, not clouds, but something vast, impossibly ancient, moving with a slow, deliberate grace. The air grew heavy, thick with an icy coldness. A faint, distorted whisper began to rise from the depths, like many voices underwater, their words a jumble, yet tugging at a primal fear. My reflection seemed to grow distant, sinking, replaced by a subtle, shimmering distortion. The whispers intensified, a rising chorus of mournful, echoing tones, not quite human. The lake's surface, so still, began to churn beneath my reflection, though the rest of the water remained calm. A ripple, dark and oily, broke the mirror, not from a stone, but from something vast rising from below. My reflection contorted, twisting, then reforming into Lily's face. Pale, gaunt, her eyes wide, glassy, staring with an ancient terror not her own. Her mouth opened, silent at first. Then I heard her voice, a spectral whisper, distorted by water and time, echoing from the abyss. "Brother, come with us." The lake's surface around her reflection swirled into a vortex, revealing glimpses of unimaginable forms beneath. Vast, indifferent eyes, multifaceted and unknowable, blinked open from the darkness, staring up through Lily's reflection, directly at me. The air grew impossibly cold, stealing my breath, freezing the scream that I stumbled back from the shore, scrambling away from the encroaching darkness, the spectral face of my sister, and the horrors that lurked behind her. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic bird trapped in a cage. The image was burned into my mind. Lily's eyes, reflecting the vast, indifferent entities that now held her, that were her. The pull of the water still tugged at my thoughts, a siren song of cold embrace. Now, whenever I glimpse my own reflection, a window, a polished table, my phone screen, I sometimes see, for a fleeting instant, the vague, swirling shapes beneath. The dark, shifting forms from Lake Veridian. They are waiting. Lily wasn't taken by the lake. She became a part of it, a part of them. And perhaps, with every passing day, every reflection I encounter, I am slowly becoming a part of them too, my own humanity slowly dissolving into their ancient, abyssal awareness that if you've walked this path with me, if the glass holds new dread for you now, then you understand. You belong to this quiet terror, this shared gaze into the abyss. Don't look away. Keep watching. Others need to know what lurks just beyond the surface. In every shimmering reflection, .my world is code. I'm a programmer, a digital archaeologist drawn to the forgotten corners of the internet. That's where I found it. An ancient forum thread from the late 90s, the glitch in the reflection. It discussed a strange, repeating pattern of code that users claimed caused subtle distortions in digital images, revealing things that shouldn't be there, particularly in reflective surfaces within photos. Most dismissed it as creepypasta, mere digital folklore. But my curiosity wouldn't let it go, an intellectual itch to unravel the impossible. I meticulously extracted the code, a fragmented, cryptic string, feeling its unsettling power even through the digital divide, that I began to experiment in a virtual machine, isolating the code, feeding it into old rendering engines. At first, static, digital noise. Then, images began to subtly warp. Faces, not people who were present, but blurred, indistinct specters, appearing in reflective surfaces, a window pane, a polished desk, the sheen on an eye. These faces, always in reflections, seemed to be observing the scene, a silent, unblinking presence. A horrifying pattern emerged. The faces, initially facing away, would slowly, incrementally, turn towards me. My own screen, even when the code wasn't running, started to flicker with these fleeting, subliminal glimpses in its dark surface. My apartment felt colder, less private. One night, consumed by compulsion, I opened my laptop's webcam. My image was normal for a moment. Then, the glitch took hold. A subtle ripple across the digital reflection of my face. My image on screen began to pixelate, distort, not into static, but into a multitude of spectral faces. They swirled, merged, forming a single, horrific entity with eyes like fractured glass and a mouth stretched into a void. It was behind my digital self, reaching out from the screen, its indistinct fingers seeming to brush against the virtual frame towards me. My real face in the webcam image remained unchanged, but I could feel it. A cold, suffocating pressure behind me, a silent breath on my neck. The webcam feed flickered violently, then crashed, the screen going black. My entire setup went dark, plunging the room into oppressive silence. I sat there, paralyzed, the phantom pressure on my neck lingering. The code, the glitch, the faces, they weren't just confined to the forum or my machine. They had found a way out. Now, whenever I look at any screen, my phone, my television, my darkened monitor, or any polished surface, I see them. Faint, fleeting impressions of those faces, swirling just beneath the surface of the glass, waiting in the dark reflections. They are not merely in the code. They are in the glass. They are in the light. They are in the shadows. And sometimes, when I catch my own reflection, I see them shifting, just at the edge of my vision, a silent, knowing multitude, their eyes fixed intently on me. I am their mirror now, their conduit. Every surface hides more than just light and shadow. Every reflection is a window. And once you've truly looked, truly seen what stares back from the other side, you'll never trust your own image again. Because somewhere, something else is looking back through you.